Hello students, today we will study about interviews and group discussion. So first of all we will see the term interview. The word interview means view between, view between. That suggests a meeting between two or more persons for the purpose of understanding each other's point of view. Of course, interview need not always be one-to-one. It can be a panel interview as well. So it can be one-to-one or panel interview. So basically, it is a meeting of persons face-to-face traditionally. And the interviewer is the person who takes interview, maybe having sets of questions to ask to the interviewee. And meet face to face and communicate, understand the body language, confidence level, knowledge of the person facing the interview. The purpose of interview needs to be kept in mind in a very specific manner. So it is basically the medium of communication between people. An interview is face-to-face oral exchange of opinions, information, thoughts on some of the relevant matters. So, as Murphy and Peck defines, an interview is a conversation with a purpose. It aims at giving truthful responses from the candidate. Now, we will see interview is a medium of communication, usually face-to-face, oral exchange of thoughts, opinion and information in order to assess the knowledge of candidate for appropriate selection for job or admission in education field. Now, we can understand as the word interview comes, you get the imagination of a person, a candidate who is applying for a job, sitting in front of the panel, or a single interviewer who is asking few questions to that candidate. Whereas, when I say what is group discussion, so what image would you get in your mind with the very word group or group discussion? So you will get number of people sitting together, persons in a group, and they have having discussion on some topic. So group discussion is a tool similarly as like interview used by institutions, the organizations and companies to assess the personality of the persons of the group for the placement of job placement or admission to a course. So now you can see and you can compare between these two words, interviews and the group discussion, how they function, how they are used as a tool for the selection of right candidate for particular job or for the admission purpose. Now we will see what is the need of interviews or group discussion. So simply when interviews, this term comes, we get to understand there are number of people facing each other, exchanging information to each other. So it is to exchange information, knowledge, opinion from one person to another. Means acquiring knowledge, supplying knowledge from one person to another. Then the need of interviews or group discussion is to assess. For assessing the capability and skills of the candidate in order to select a right candidate out of many who have applied for the same job. Then the need of interviews and group discussion is for screening and shortlisting of the right candidate for the job. Now we will see what are the types of interview. So the first type of interview is selection interview or promotion interview. So selection interview, where the employer's aim is to find out whether the job for which the candidate is applying or being interviewed is suitable for that particular job, or vice versa, other way round. That means the main objective of the selection interview is to assess the suitability of the candidate and then to select the best candidate for the specific job. Now, Francis Drake, in his book The Interviewer and His Art, mentions to determine the most suitable candidate is the motto of selection interview. Then he says to give the candidate information about the job and the company. That is also the purpose of selection interview. Then the third purpose of selection interview is to motivate the candidate to accept the job. And then fourth one is to promote goodwill towards the company, to the candidate. So this is about the selection interview. Now I will tell you about the promotion interview. It is a person who, while working in any organization, becomes due for promotion, is interviewed. The purpose for this type of interview is to measure the attitude and abilities of the person and his fitness to take up the responsibilities of the higher post to which he or she is likely to be promoted. And if there is more than one candidate for promotion, the interview can be a basis for selection. So the criteria used are often not clear or not stated, and there will obviously be different views about the importance of seniority and personal acceptability and the job requirement, etc. Then the second types of interview is assessment interview. It is like time to time appraisals which are necessary in any organization in order to ensure its growth and development. The periodical assessment or evaluation by superior officer reviewing the subordinates' performance, future work plans, and that is called as appraisal. So such interviews are usually held once or twice every year to review the performance of the subordinate, to see if past targets have been reached, to set new targets, to clear doubts or misunderstandings. Most importantly, to consider employees' promotion prospects and future job assignments. So, an appraisal interview, according to Anastasia, has two goals: improve job performance, better relations, and improved communication between managers and subordinates. And if appraisals are based on sound objective performance based criteria, and if interviews which follow the appraisals are well planned and well conducted, both these goals should be met, according to Anastasia. So appraisal refers to the measurement or assessment of productivity, proficiency of employee, having discussion with him on the ways and means and improving them. Then there is this reprimand or punishment interview. So this type of interview
is meant for scolding, reprimanding, or psychologically punishing the juniors or subordinates who do not obey instructions and do not perform their duties properly. So reprimand interviews sometimes become important, becomes necessary through most subordinates resent them. You know, such interviews should be held in privacy and never in presence of others, because it may be like an insult in some cases in that way. The objectives of such interviews should never be to break the workers down or to but in order to help them to give a better account of help access. So reprimand interview, it should be conducted when they are very much necessary. They should be resorted to a very sparingly and only in fit cases. Then there is a medical, clinical or psychological interview. That is when the post is to be filled, a candidate is sent to the physician. After this process, his selection for his medical test, physical checkups, and to find out his physical fitness. Nowadays, some large and progressive firms send the candidates to the psychiatrist as well, or to their industrial psychologist or industrial counselor to test the would-be employee's emotional stability and mental alertness. These experts check and analyze the mental capabilities and traits of the candidate. Then there is under stress interview and exit interview. First we'll see under stress interview. So in contemporary business world, it is very highly competitive world which may be having lots of tensions to the people's minds and various other types of mental and physical stress. Employees have to learn to cope up with difficult situations. They must balance their mental coordination, mental harmony, peace, and physical abilities. In such interviews, a candidate is put under intentional stress so that his reactions can be observed and tested. So this is called as the under stress interview. They have to undergo such kind of under stress test. Then there is exit interview. This is a type of interview which is very important for employer's point of view, because this interview takes place when employee leave the organization. They resign the job. It is believed that a departing employee is likely to speak frankly, and that enables the management to get a proper assessment of the real working status at the organization The employee's decision to leave the job may be voluntary or involuntary. If the employee resigns, he is given an interview before his exit, he or she. This interview is important because management can find out the reasons for the employee's decision to leave and can clear up misunderstandings that might have been created. So, it may be up to the organization whether the reasons are poor pay, poor working environment, no challenge in the job, no reward for achievement. So the candidate has to be very much free, frank to speak, truthful, and that is very much helpful for the organization to make out the actual working status at organization. Then the last but not least is online interview, which is very much applicable in today's world, especially after lockdown period. So online interview is very much prevalent in today's time. After computers made their presence felt in a big way, many changes came about the functioning of different fields. So Companies realize that advertising or using traditional modes like newspaper or job career fair involves investment of both time and money, and hence conducting online job interviews is preferable nowadays. As far as interviewee is concerned, not only does he or she save on travel, time, but ease in his or her own home environment. So online interviews make use of mainstream technology. Both the end user and the process is very much comfortable. It is found very much comfortable. So this is about the online interview. Now we will see the next, that is the conclusion. To conclude the interview, we will see WASP technique, the process of interview through WASP technique in interview. So WASP technique, like welcoming, first of all, as the interview begins, any panel or interviewer welcomes the candidate who is applying for the job, is about to be facing the interview. So it is the welcoming session in the beginning. Then acquiring knowledge, acquiring information from the candidate who is giving the interview, the interviewee. So that is the second process of interview. Then supplying information or knowledge to the interviewee from the interviewer, because interviewer also, along with having sets of question, asking questions from the interviewee, he or she or the panel have to supply the information at the same time, simultaneously to the interviewee. Then the last process is in WASP technique is P, that is parting or saying adieu from the interview, saying bye bye from the interview, and the formality that the panel or interviewer they say interviewers they say that we will inform you about the status. We may call you on phone, we may email you, we may send you a letter for the appointment of the job or the update about the job interview. So this is the process of interview in very much encapsulating form through the WASP technique in interview. Then location and preparation for interview has to be cleared, properly decided before the interview. Then the questioning or listing and summarizing has to be clearly made planned before the interview. So the sets of the questions, what kind of questions should be there, should be asked, like closed questions, open questions, probing questions, situation related questions. So it has to be all, or linked questions has to be properly asked in order to make proper information, get the proper information about the candidate or interviewee. So then the listening is very important aspect in interview, not only the questioning, because listening to the interviewee makes it a perfect interview, near to perfection. So listening is equally important as compared to questioning in any interview. Then summarizing. The aim of summarizing is to reiterate what has been said and to ensure that the interviewer and interviewee have the same understanding. The technique is advantageous that provides a break during which one can confirm what has already been said or interviewee with a new topic. So, and then the making judgments and analyzing the result is very much important, and the very much last aspect of any interview, last step in any interview.
because in order to make screening or shortlisting or appointing the candidate for the job, their allotment of marks, proper judgment list should be prepared. They have to be properly analyzed, assessed, and then on the basis of merit, the result has been declared. So the appointment has been done on the basis of the merit after preparing the proper judgment list and proper analyzation of the knowledge, skills, confidence level of the candidate applying for the job, facing the interview. So thank you, students. If you have any doubt, you if you have any doubt, you can ask me via my email. My email ID is chandan.mishra@patak.edu.in. Thank you.